Okay, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the DTI Takeover show. I am one of your hosts, Miss Kayla, here on Total Praise Radio. I am getting used to saying that some more. As always, we are highlighting and spotlighting our entrepreneurs and our business owners, people who are out here who are making some type of difference or impact. And this young lady is no different. I have with me authoress, Debbie Hollins. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great, and you?
I'm pretty good, Miss Debbie. I can't complain. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Debbie Hollins?
Well, I'm a minister. I have an awesome husband. I am a mother and a grandmother, and I love the Lord.
Yes, yes, ma'am. How has it been wearing all of those hats? Being a minister, your wife, you're a mother, and now we can add author.
Yes.
How is it like balancing all of those things?
It's have its moments. As an author, I'm learning so many different angles as being an author. So I wrote the book that made me the author. Now I got to learn the other procedures to go with the author.
Oh, I got you. So, Miss Debbie, has writing been something you've always been interested in?
Ever since I was a little child, I used to write. And my family used to say, "Girl, you're gonna be a teacher one of these days, because all you're doing is writing." And when I wrote the book, my sister said, "By time, because you've been writing all your life." So I love to write.
What were some of the things that you were writing, if you don't mind me asking?
And back then,
yes, ma'am.
Oh, anything, I love to write about me.
About you.
Things that I go through. And I wrote about school. I was one of them just didn't like school at all. So I had to do a paper. And in the paper, I put how I just didn't care for school. And the teacher wrote back on a note, "Is it that bad?"
You wrote a whole paper about it.
I wrote a paper about it. And she was waiting on the response. I looked up. She was looking at me. I shook my head. Yes.
Did you at least get a good grade for your paper, Miss Debbie?
Oh, I always get a good grade for my paper. I always have a way to bring people in and write a story.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So how did you become a minister? What led you that route?
What led me to that route is really going through with lupus. So after that journey, it was another journey about accepting the calling to be a minister, which I did not want. So I ran a good part of that. But I answered the call because I got tired of running.
Miss Debbie, I hear that's what usually happens with people who are truly called. They don't really want it.
No. I didn't want it. Some people call me Jonah. You are running Jonah. You just run. Oh.
What made you finally stop?
When did I finally stop?
Yes, ma'am. What made you finally stop?
Real God. He asked me, "Where are you going?" That particular day, I decided I was going to pack my bag. I was going to go to Dallas, live with my auntie. And I know God was all knowing, and I know I had to, in my mind, I was going to try to fake him out.
You was tricking him?
I was tricking him. I would talk to God. I would go in the closet, get the suitcase, and I would look up, and I was, and I put the suitcase in the chair, and then I would just look up, and I would go in the closet, get me some clothes, lay it to the side. I wouldn't put it in the suitcase yet, but I would lay it to the side, and I always would look up, and then one time I looked back, just to make sure. But he all know, all present. But then I still went, got some more stuff, got my shoes, put it on the other side, and it was time to pack. I had everything that I needed, so I just put it in the bag. And the moment I zipped the bag up, God said, "Where are you going? There's nowhere you can go from me. If you go to hell, you're going to hear me." and it got it.
So it clicked. And so
It
you
clicked, but then it came. I had to set the date to preach, and that was the hardest thing. Like I ran some more, so I had to surrender unto the call,
mm.
and then I preach.
Do you remember your first sermon?
Yes, it was about faith. Mark 11, 22, and 24.
What was the gist of your message?
Uh, it was about faith, how you have to have faith in the word. God is God all knowing,
Mm-hmm.
and He know your heart. So if your heart ain't right, you doubting, you ain't not in faith. You in everything else, but you're not in faith.
Mm. Wow, that's amazing.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. So now you have this book, Living Within the Confinements of Lupus. And you say you have a personal battle with lupus yourself.
I had one.
You had one.
I had one.
Past tense. Okay.
Yes, 10. Yes. That's the purpose of writing the book. God wanted people to understand that He's still a healer.
Yes,
I've
ma'am.
been here from lupus for 33 years. And
Wow.
so God said, now it's time to write the book. You gave the testimony.
Mm-hmm.
Now I need you to write the book. And so I sat down and I began to write in the Holy Spirit. He helped me to bring a lot of things back to my remembrance. And
Yes.
in the book, I shared my struggle. And the part what I didn't want to start it was the part where God wanted me to start. And
Mm,
I surrendered to that because when I found that I had lupus and how bad it was, I was just so furious at God
mm,
to the point where I cussed him out.
mm, mm-hmm,
So a lot of people said, no, you didn't. Yes, I did. Because before then, I had a relationship with God. But
mm-hmm,
yet I couldn't believe that same God whom I felt in love with would put
mm-hmm,
this lupus up on me. And I told God, bad he is, and he can blink an eye, and it just leave. But it stays there. And
mm-hmm,
I felt like he was just taking me away from my son. And even in that, God said, well, I had a son. I gave you my son. And yeah, and I thought about it. And it touched me. But then I got right back on myself and said, no, I'm talking about me.
mm-hmm.
So I struggle with that, the pain, fate, everything came unglued for me. But the marvelous thing about it, God never forsaken me. And I really thought at that moment, He turned His back and
Mm-hmm.
never looked back. I felt like He just betrayed me through the whole thing, but He
Mm-hmm.
didn't.
What made you realize that he didn't forsake you, and this wasn't just no curse or something that he has placed on your life?
Because everything I went through, His love was still there. The pain was real, but God still was there. When
Mm-hmm.
I went to the doctor, the Holy Spirit would speak to me and would let me know how to talk to the doctors, how to rebuke things. So I knew that His love was still there. But yet the devil had a part in it. He didn't want me to see that God's love was still there. But because of the conviction of the Holy Spirit, I was able to see, come to myself that God's love was still there and it's still strong. It didn't weaken. Yes, He could say, well, Debbie, because you cussed me out,
Mm-hmm.
you told me to go to,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put you 6 foot under. But He didn't because of His grace because of His grace and mercy. So I'm still here and I'm so thankful for that because that was love.
Yes, ma'am.
When you meet love, God was my first really true love. There was no love like that first love. And that's what I always compared it to, my true love. And my true love, to me, He just left me, allowed me to go through that. But when I came to myself and I realized, hey, He did. It
Yes,
was just the enemy in the sky trying to make me doubt my Father.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, living within the confinements of lupus, what are some things that one deals with when they with lupus? What is lupus? I guess I should first start off saying what is lupus.
But I'm gonna tell to you like my doctor told to me.
Yes, ma'am.
It is your red cell and your white cell fighting each other. And that's what I had a struggle with. Why is my body at war with each
With
other?
mm,
They just fighting constantly at each other. And so when you have lupus, you go through this brain fog where you there, and you in that isolation. And nobody can get to you at time, and nor do you want them to. And
mm,
lupus, nobody understand because they look at you and they'll say, well, she's okay, but really she's all messed up in the inside. She's not okay. We crying out, within, but nobody hearing that cry because you looking at us and our face is saying, hey, she's okay, but we're
mm-hmm,
not okay. It's like lupus in a disguise. Lupus creep up on us to the point where in the book I put, it hold us hostage.
mm,
And that's the way I felt. I felt like a stranger to my own body. The morning times, it was just terrible for me because when I wake up, I couldn't move.
mm,
Lupus did with a scream exhaustion. So that's what I was in the morning time. I
mm-hmm,
had to deal with it. There was no movement. The little movement that I had, it just left. And I realized even that little movement just stopped the movement because you're making it worse.
mm.
So finally, it got to the point where it just like it was paralyzed. I couldn't move. I
Wow.
couldn't turn my head. I couldn't wrinkle. I couldn't make my toes wrinkle. I couldn't do nothing.
Wow.
The only thing I could do, I could see, I could smell. I didn't have a voice. I couldn't scream. I couldn't even send my son to tell my mama, hey, come in the room. I need you to get me up. I couldn't do none of that. So I was just there,
You just
left in my bed.
stuck. Wow. So now, is that one of your key symptoms of lupus?
That is the key system. Exhaustion.
Okay.
Exhaustion.
Exhaustion. Are there other symptoms that comes with lupus as well?
There are several systems. Let me tell the story the way the doctor told it to me, okay?
Okay.
Lupus affects all parts of your body. Your arms, your leg, all your organs. Lupus can turn your hand purple, blue. Lupus can cause you to lose your hair. Lupus, you can have either two type of rash: the butterfly rash on your face that look like a butterfly,
Mm,
or it was the rash that nobody wanted, a rash that looked little bitty bites all over your face, and they called it the wolf bite.
mm,
And when I got diagnosed with it, that's what he was telling me. I'm sorry, but you at that stage, and that's the kind of rash you're gonna get, the wolf bite.
mm,
And when people get that type of bite, they cover it up. But they have to uncover because it make it hurt that much worse. And so, you got arthritis sit in. They compare lupus with arthritis.
mm. Okay.
So there's many things. You think about when your organs shut down, you're not functioning at all. And that was one of the things what he was telling me. When that body shut down,
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna be doing no movement. Your finger, your muscles gonna be jumping, and you're gonna have to be on a wear pampers. People gonna have to feed you.
Mm-hmm.
You can lose your mind. It was just
Yes, ma'am.
nothing good. It was just getting worse and worse.
Wow. But you came out. You
I
made.
came out.
Thank God.
I
You came out. Yes, ma'am. And so now you have this book. How can people purchase Living Within the Confinements of Lupus?
They can find it on Amazon, Westbrook Press. They can find it on Google Play, uh, Barnes and Nobles, Walmart.com, Book Hub. It's just all over,
Everywhere.
basically.
You are everywhere.
Everywhere.
How can people, stay in touch with you for anything else that you have coming up? Do you have social media?
Yes, I'm on Facebook. Go to Debbie Holli's author page, and I have a page on Amazon and on christianbook.com. I did a author slash artist interview.
Okay.
Look
Oh,
me up.
so Debbie Hollins author page
Uh
on
huh.
Facebook. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, Miss Debbie, it has been wonderful speaking with you today. We
Okay.
definitely gained some insight on what lupus is, and I'm sure you will go into more detail about
Mhm.
that in your book and how people can deal and cope
Indeed.
with
Yes.
and come and overcome. So I appreciate you once again for being a guest on Total Praise Radio. To everyone who is tuning in, make sure you stay locked in with Total Praise Radio. Follow us on Facebook at Total Praise Radio, our Instagram at Total Praise Radio
Mhm.
underscore, I think. Um, and definitely check out the station at www.totalpraiseent. No, I'm sorry, totaleNtradio.com. Hit the Total Praise Radio button and enjoy. Until next time, you all, I am your host, Miss Kayla, and I am signing off.